The vents intended to move air through the attic are frankly a tiny part of a roofing project. And yet, an attic ventilation focused culture at a roofing company can pay off big. How big? Let's find out. Hi there, welcome back to another episode of our podcast, Airing It Out with AirVent. My name is pscelsi. I host AirVent's Attic Ventilation Ask the Expert seminars offered every winter to residential roofing professionals all across North America since 1998. Our guest today has extensive experience working at a roofing company before it had an attic ventilation focused culture, as well as helping to transition the company to that focus. Let's welcome to the podcast, Aaron Santos, the CEO of RoofCoach. Hi there, Aaron.
Hey, Paul. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing real good, thank you. It's great to have you as our guest. Good to see you. Thank you for your time.
Good to be seen.
Aaron, we've known each other since the early 2000s, my friend, when you were working in the Pacific Northwest at a roofing company. And preparing for this podcast, Aaron, I found some notes from an attic ventilation before and after case study we did together in Tacoma, Washington. It brought a smile to my face. Good times.
The old McCord Air Force Base, if I remember right.
That is correct. Yes. Excellent. I didn't. Yeah, that's awesome. Aaron, would you please summarize for our listeners what we mean by an attic ventilation focused culture?
Well, it's kind of more like making sure you're focusing on correcting all aspects of the roof, right? Not just the leak sensitive parts, but one of the most overlooked is the ventilation, because it can be a little mysterious to some people, right? And it also can seem like, well, it doesn't keep the roof from leaking, right? So maybe it doesn't need to be that big of a thing. And another thing is, for a lot of contractors, it's sometimes can seem challenging to correct the ventilation. So, but there's a massive benefit to adopting and making that a crucial part of what you do.
Aaron, we're not going to spend a lot of time today, I don't believe, analyzing the specific benefits of attic ventilation necessarily. We have past episodes of this podcast covering that. But briefly, for any listener who may not be aware, who finds it a little bit mysterious, attic ventilation can help fight heat and moisture buildup inside the attic, as well as fight ice dams. And that in turn can help with the longevity of the roof, energy bills, indoor comfort level, etc. Aaron, I purposely started this podcast episode by acknowledging that the attic vents are a tiny portion of an overall roofing project, and they are. That's not a mystery. They're also a fraction of the overall cost of a new roof. And yet here we are. We've named this episode having an attic ventilation focused culture. Why? What, Aaron, why should I focus on what I'm going to call a small part of the roof, all in all?
Well, the rivets that make up an airplane are a small part too, but if the rivets aren't all correct, I don't know that I want to fly on it.
I love it.
So, it really just boils down to, it's the right thing to do. I hear a lot of roofers talking about, we do a great job, we do this right, but then they leave out things like the ventilation and I don't think it's, I think it's an unconscious omission. So here's the thing, the ventilation is like the heart and lungs of the home. I don't know if I heard that from you, you might've said that, but its job is to circulate air and maintain that, which helps to maintain temperature and controlling the moisture, right? This is why manufacturers put disclaimers in their warranty if the roof isn't properly ventilated, right? So, if you talk to, I've been in over 1,000 homes. I don't know how many houses I've been into, and I've inspected many attics, almost every one of those, hundreds if not thousands. And out of all the homeowners I've talked to, if you ask any of them if they don't want a warranty, almost every one of them will say no, they do want a warranty. So ventilation is a key component of that. Just for that little bit alone, uh, deserves to give it the attention that it should have.
Aaron, I love the rivets on an airplane analogy. That's awesome. I'm not going to claim saying the hearts and lungs, but I wrote it down and I'm going to start using it.
Yeah.
The importance of ventilation. That's awesome.
Well,
Aaron,
well, hang on real quick, not to get too technical, but
yeah,
I know I heard this from you. How many gallons of moisture are created in a home every day?
2 to 4 gallons from our activities. Yes.
Well, where does that go? It goes, if it's in the wintertime, it's going to go up, right? So, there's a responsibility that we have.
Absolutely. Thanks, Aaron. Aaron, I believe I know what you're going to say, but I'd like to hear it for our listeners also. Is this culture we're focusing on really going to make a difference long term?
Yeah. Well, I can speak from experience. When I got into the industry, or when I got into the contracting side, I was coming from supply. So I had a pretty good knowledge of components and warranties and how everything was supposed to work. And I came into a business that wasn't following a lot of those rules. And when I started talking about doing attic inspections and fixing ventilation the way it needed to be fixed for homes that were deficient, I got a lot of pushback. I persevered through that. And within a year, maybe a year and a half, then it was, we won't do it any other way. Our crews and installers were like, oh, look at that company. They don't even fix the intake. I can tell what they're doing. You look at that, you got mixed exhaust vent up there, right?
Yes.
And so the whole culture and standards change. And the result of all of that, you start fixing everything and doing everything correctly and holding different standards. You start attracting different types of employees, and not to mention just doing the job right?
Yes.
And if you have an effective sales process, you can effectively communicate that to your homeowners, and you actually can sell more work. So, I mean, it kind of touches every part of the business in a positive way.
Yes. Aaron, preparing for our conversation today, it did occur to me, and you've already said it twice. Yes, we're calling it attic ventilation focused, but it's broader than that. It's more far reaching than that. It's a mindset of doing it correctly. It meaning the project, the roofing project. At the risk of sounding a little blue sky here, Aaron, is this culture going to have an impact on the industry? Can it have an impact on the industry at large?
The industry at large, well, I mean, I think it already has. I think you have.
Well, I don't know about that,
but hey, without you coming around and doing and investing the time that you invest every year, and being the road dog, I think it has had an impact. I've seen your competitors kind of copy some of the stuff you've done, and I mean, it has had an impact. But there's work to be done.
Sure,
there's a lot of work to be done, and bottom line is, so ventilation, it's not like a luxury item, it's a requirement. It's what's supposed to be done, right? So could it have an impact? Yeah, it could. Even if it's not from mold and fungal growth and bad things that can happen in the attic, you ask any homeowner if they want to spend more money than they have to on their energy bills, and they're all going to tell you no. So if you can help with that even a little bit, it's a benefit.
Thanks for the kind words, Aaron, about our efforts to further educate the industry. When we talk to roofers like yourself back in the day, Aaron, and you've embraced this, one roof at a time. And I know it's a small step, but while we're working on that roof, own it, and to the best that you can, do it right. And I think most people, most have good intentions, but we're trying to increase the awareness.
Well, back to just to piggyback on there. Now something popped in my mind, but I can tell you this: that we set the trend in our market for getting in the attic, designing the stuff right, doing it right. Within a year or two, there's other people all of a sudden. They're tired of losing jobs to us, right? They're tired of having homeowners say, why aren't you doing these things when they show up? And yeah, there is an effect. And now the people that I coach and train, and I'm getting them to do this stuff, they're starting to talk. I'm here. I heard it just yesterday. Yeah, I got this other company over here. Now they're starting to do some of the stuff that we're doing. So yeah, it absolutely can make a massive impact.
Aaron, I don't want you to have to repeat yourself, but just to drive home a point for the homeowner, you've already mentioned warranty, you've already mentioned the energy bills, but just like in a summary statement, what's the benefit of this culture, this attic ventilation focused culture to the homeowner?
Well, the product lasting and doing what it's supposed to do. Every homeowner thinks when they buy a new roof from whoever they buy it from, that it's never going to have a problem and it's going to work perfectly.
Yeah.
And if that were the case, why would we have repairs? Why would we have failures prematurely, on the second homeowner maybe? Well, because it wasn't designed and installed right to begin with. So yeah, there's just from that standpoint, and ventilation is one component of that. It's like that rivet in the airplane, right? We don't, I can assure you this, if you asked any homeowner how much money they're willing to invest in wrong, they would all say nothing.
I love that.
They would all say nothing. And if you leave ventilation out, what is it?
Wrong.
It's wrong.
I love that, Aaron. Hey, can I borrow that?
Absolutely.
Aaron, tell us a little bit, please, about RoofCoach.
Yeah. So, I started in supply and all my friends were roofers. They were roofing contractors, siding contractors, roofing contractors, and I had lots of friends who are awesome people. They work really hard, and a lot of times they wouldn't have businesses that afforded them the lifestyle that they wanted and the freedom they wanted, and or the ability to maybe sell it or retire someday. And I didn't think that was right. So I had the fortune to get into the contracting side of the business and worked at a company for a little while, then started a business from zero, grew it to over 8 figures and sold it. Then I got I thought, why not try to help other people do the same thing? So that's kind of what RoofCoach is about. It's designed, our focus, our vision is to help roofing contractors who want to have a business that gives them some freedom and control. They don't have to be a $10 or $20 million company, but they want to have systems and processes in place and be able to do business, like say, do business on purpose. So that's kind of what we do. We help them from sales process, marketing planning, business planning, leadership management. We've got a really unique management process that I've developed that's intuitive, easy to understand and implement, that actually gets your people engaged to be in what I like to call a solutions culture. We got ventilation culture, I like to call solutions culture, where they're participating in designing, systemizing the business.
Sure.
So having a lot of fun with it, and I'm working as hard as I ever have, and I'm enjoying every minute of it.
I love it, Aaron. I think you're well suited for it, knowing your personality and your, yeah, you're welcome, your communication style. What's a good way to get a hold of you, Aaron, if someone listening is curious?
Website is real easy, www.roofcoach.net. And you can get me directly at Aaron, AARON, at roofcoach.net.
Awesome. Fantastic. Aaron, as we sort of wind down and wrap up this episode, is there anything you'd like to add for our listeners, either about attic ventilation focused culture or really anything at all?
Well, I can't speak highly enough about committing to attic ventilation and making that a staple. And this isn't just because I'm on this podcast. I preach this to anybody I work with, because if you really learn how to design attic ventilation properly, it will force you to be excellent at a few other things. And when you become different and better than your competition, you're doing the right thing. Then you have something to actually sell a value to the homeowner. So when you do that, you can gain more jobs and actually do it for a higher amount. So not that you want to gouge people, but you can get them to pay for quality if they understand why.
Yes.
And this is one of the great ways to do that. And you're actually helping them and doing the right thing to ensure they actually have a manufacturer's guarantee.
Win-win.
it's a win all the way around.
Aaron, thank you so much for being our guest today. We really appreciate your time and all that you've shared with us. Good luck with RoofCoach. On behalf of AirVent, the roofing industry, and homeowners, thank you, Aaron.
Hey, thank you for all the years of service and everything that you've done for the industry and continue to do. It is your passion is very evident in everything you do. It's very sincere and it's very valuable. So I thank you for everything you've done for the past 20 some years that I've known you.
Aaron, super kind of you. Thank you, my man. Thank you so much.
You bet, buddy.
While it's true the attic vents are a small part of a roofing project, a culture focused on attic ventilation can pay big dividends to roofing companies, the roofing industry, and ultimately the homeowner living under that roof. Well, that wraps up this episode. Please leave a review on YouTube or whatever platform you used to listen to this episode. Be sure to let us know if there's a topic you'd like us to cover in future episodes. Maybe you'd like to be a guest one day like Aaron was a guest. Or maybe you know someone who'd make a great guest. Drop us a note on the podcast page of our website, airvent.com. You can also reach out to us on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. And please come back for more Airing It Out with AirVent. I'm pscelsi. Thanks for listening.